knows?
And who the hell wants to know?
You like what you see?
Do I need to call security over here?
Stop being a punk.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Hey Wesley from aconnectiontv.com and A Connection TV here on YouTube. The two places on the World Wide Web where we actually adopt similar connections despite our differences. Now, I want to come on real quick to talk about the challenge. It has been so good this particular season. But before I get into it, I need y'all to do me a solid. Go to my Instagram, A Connection TV, and subscribe. Go to my Twitter, A Connection TV, and subscribe. And go to aconnectiontv.com, the new online streaming network created by yours truly, and subscribe. We actually have a section on there called YouTube's Corner where you get to see full-length reviews and videos from Mona Simone and myself. And we have scripted concepts like scripted web stories, scripted films, animation, and things of the sort on aconnectiontv.com. So go check that out. Now, I want to talk about the challenge. I've been watching this season and I've honestly been in love with this particular season more so than I can remember me being in love with any other season. Reason being is because at first glance it seems like it's the heroes versus the villains. The villains being Laurel, which is a recent thing, being Bananas, and being Wes. Wes became a villain last season. Bananas has always been a villain, and Laurel just recently became a villain because she's riding Bananas. Anybody that's affiliated with Bananas is automatically a villain, or they're just dumb. And I couldn't, for a long time I tried to figure out why Leroy was so cool with Bananas, because he was always getting gypped right before final. Always getting gypped right before final. And he's just never made it to a final, never won a final or nothing. He's always been trying and trying. And Leroy was that fine jock that became a good upstanding man and just was riding for his friends. And now Leroy is starting to play the game. Leroy is starting to turn, and it's very interesting watching him turn. Josh is starting to turn. And I'm gonna get into why I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for Georgia, and I don't feel bad for I understand Josh, but still it's damn, that was But man, so I don't even know where to start. But let's just pick apart the people. All right, click the thumbs up on this video if you would be so kind, and definitely subscribe to A Connection TV on YouTube if you're not already subscribed. 118,000 subscribers. Thank you. Now, the US has been messing up the UK. They're always winning. And there are moments where you feel like the UK is going to win, but then they don't. And then there have been moments where the US has just lucked out, but they have been winning nonstop, period. It is what it is. I think the UK won one over the US, and last night was their second win. But with that, we've seen a lot of backstabs, against, but like I said before, Bananas, Laurel, and Cara. We've seen Theo be thrown into the elimination all the time, and we've seen Georgia thrown into eliminations all the time. So now it's like Theo and Georgia have become the killer Cams of eliminations, because I remember when Cam was thrown in all the time and she kept beasting and coming back. And Cam would make political power moves, and she's gotten that reputation as Killer Cam for a reason. She's not made it to a final, Tori, but neither of you. And I don't understand why Tori is so over Cam. And not to say that I don't like Tori. I like Tori for what she stands for, and she's a good player. Okay, she beat out Georgia last night. I feel bad for her because she's with someone who I really thought was dope. I would ride for Jordan, because Jordan was always winning with his hand. And I always felt oh my God, Jordan is so dope. Jordan is so dope. He's so cool. But Jordan started to change, and all of these people that I thought were so cool, Cara started to change. Paulie starting to change. The challenge changes people. Or are they just playing the game? I wonder, because ever since Bananas did what he did to Sarah, he's never made it to a final. Never, ever since, never made it to a final. And it's like these people are turning against each other. They're playing with no morals, and it's like they're all becoming little bananas. Last week we had Turbo against Jordan. Jordan is a punk. His persona and personality on the challenge, he's very much a punk. And I don't know why he's so intimidated. I do know why he's intimidated by Turbo. Because everybody is intimidated by Turbo. Even CT was like, oh man, I wouldn't even mess with Turbo. Everybody's intimidated by him. Because he looks like just a caveman that will snap your neck in any instance. It's like, if you have him on your side, you're in luck. If you don't have him on your side, you're shit out of luck. And so we start this episode off with him rumbling and ramming, trying to get to Jordan because Jordan mocked his walk. And Jordan knew exactly what he was doing when he did it. And I'm not upset at Turbo for being upset because Turbo is very big on respect. We saw how he responded to the ladies, Ninja and D, last season when Ninja had gotten all out of arms over him not doing what she thought he should have done with the carrying all the stuff across the dirt. They were carrying like the junkyard challenge or whatever it was. And she yelled at him like he was a freaking child, berated him, belittled him, and they won. They freaking won. And he didn't want to forgive her after that. And I would have never forgave her because Turbo just seems like a big, huge teddy bear that does not want to be disrespected. And so when Ashley did the slick slide shit and went and told Turbo what Jordan said, she already knew what she was doing. And of course, Turbo is not gonna be talked about without confronting the person that's been doing the talking. And so that particular episode was really, really cool because when Jordan came back, he backpedaled a little bit. And I mean, he stood his ground kind of, but he backpedaled a little bit and tried to soften the blow because he was talking real gangsta before Turbo got there. And then when Turbo got there, he backpedaled a little bit. But then security came in and Jordan felt safe and he started going off at the mouth. Turbo would murder Jordan, period. Period. Okay? And Jordan does not want any smoke, but that whole mocking his walk like that, I got why Turbo was mad. No one could calm Turbo down. Turbo was ready to hurt somebody, and it was what it was. Security pulls him away. He gets sent home, long story short. But Nany goes after Ashley a little bit, mad, because she already knows that Turbo's going to be sent home. Turbo is a short fuse, and Turbo is Nany's friend in the challenge games. And so they were very close last season, and they're still close. And so Nany felt some sort of way to Ashley. And Cara is sitting there enjoying the whole show because they all want Jordan to go. And in this season of the challenge, within the US, there's always fighting, but man, are both teams heavily divided, and Cara and Paulie are definitely running the house this particular season. And I would have to say I'm happy that it's Paulie, but not Bananas. But Paulie going against his word, and when he did that, was just not becoming. It just really wasn't. And I know that it was against Bananas, so it doesn't really matter, but it still shined a light on who he can possibly be. And I'm still a fan of people that run the game with good intentions and teamwork ethic and just morals. You know, I'm all for that. But like Josh and his partner last season found out that running the game with good intention and with good morals is not it because you lose. And then Ashley takes the money from Homeboy last season. But anyways, we get past them being upset about Turbo. The Paulie side wants Jordan and Tori gone. They don't care if they win or lose, they want Jordan and Tori gone. So they are talking to their alliance from the UK, and they're like, this is what we gotta do. Let's make it happen. That's what we're gonna do. So they all like, yay, break, or whatever the case may be. Jordan's like, it doesn't really matter because it is what it is. Like, if Turbo wants to come at me, come at me. We all know that's a lie. We all know that's a lie. Then we get to the challenge, and it's a mud rugby / whatever kind of challenge, and the UK wins. Jordan did horrible. He gets ousted by CT, and it's horrible. I felt good for CT because it was because of Jordan that they put CT on the other end. And it was just so sweet, not even bitter. It was so sweet to see CT take out Jordan when Jordan had played a heavy hand and backstabbing CT and not putting CT on the US team. So I was loving it. And for Jordan to be the first one to get out, I was loving it. I thought that was so freaking awesome, and I was just laughing at my house watching Jordan walk out because he was the first man out. Josh surprisingly did good. I don't like Josh on the challenge. Josh is a little kid on the challenge. He's overly emotional on the challenge, and I just don't like it. I like that he defends himself, and I like that he sticks up for himself, and I like that he is not a pushover, but he's just so emotionally just not there, and I just don't like him on the challenge. I didn't really like him that much on Big Brother either, but whatever, he won, and it is what it is. But he did well this particular challenge. Leroy ends up being the last man standing, and he goes up against Josh and Rogan, which it just wasn't going to work out for Leroy. But shout out to Leroy for being a battle beast and the last man standing. The last female standing in this challenge was Cara, D, and Kaylee. And I'm surprised. I'm shocked that Kaylee lasted before Jenny. I'm so shocked. But Kaylee was just so fast to get that ball and run out. She didn't really have to get too physical until they both had to battle Cara. And Cara held on to that. It's like, this is when you know that Cara is a vet champ. She hung on to it and she kept the ball. It was what it was for a long time until Kaylee got it and they walked out and UK ended up winning. Now, this is where things get a little peculiar and a little strange to me because I'm like, how in the world are they going to even make this possible? Okay, they win, and we get to the deliberation, and Paulie's side on the US is saying that they want to put in Tori. And they're saying, oh, I thought we were going to put in the strongest player on their team and get rid of the weakest link on our team. So Jordan's side is saying that Ninja is the weakest, which I believe so. Amongst the girls that they have left, Ninja is the weakest. And the Paulie side wants to put in a Tori because it's not a part of their alliance, and they want to split up the Jordan-Tori thing or whatever. Don't really understand the logic, because if we're trying to get powerful people or good people, well, no, I understand it. Ninja's a part of their alliance, Tori isn't. And that's all that it was. That's all that it was. Okay, cool. Now, the argument between Nany and Leroy, I'm not really understanding. No, I do understand. I've been watching this for so long. I get it. I understand why Leroy got so upset. Leroy has always played this game under bananas. And it never suited him well because he never made it to a freaking final. He always gets the short end of the stick before moving on to a final and attempting. I think he made it to one final, but I don't think he made it to a final. I don't think he did. I think he made it to, I don't know if it was one or something like that, but I know he never won a final. And if he did make it to a final, it was one. Y'all correct me. Y'all keep up with this just like I do. But he's had to play it somewhat dirty and decide to pick a side that his friends are not necessarily on. But he's playing this game for himself. He realizes that in order for you to get to the end, like a lot of these people do, you have to play the game for yourself. Most of the time, 90% of the time. That's how all the winners get their money. They play the game for themselves. Cara's won a couple times. Ashley's won twice. Ashley first win, she won fair and square, but the second one, she won because she had help by Hunter, but she played him. So it is what it is. But they've won. Leroy has never won. He wants to finally win something. He wants to make it to a final and win something. I don't really know how this is going to happen because their alliance is pretty stacked. And I really believe that at the end of everything, TJ is going to play all of them and split them all up and have it be like solo matches. I really think that that's what's really going to happen. So they're not going to be on the team, and it's going to be every man for himself, but we'll see. But Leroy yelling at Nany because Nany is not really understanding, even though Leroy just saved Nany, is very interesting to me because he was just, I feel like at that point Leroy just had enough. He was upset with himself for having to make that kind of decision because he's always for his friends, but he was also upset at Nany for not realizing that Leroy did not say her name because Leroy had the power to say her name and get her at the house because no one on Paulie's alliance cares for Nany or Tori. So it is what it is. Leroy did Nany a solid. Nany did not care, and it was what it was, and they started arguing at each other. Leroy is overly emotional and too attached to this girl, but I understand why. So we move past that. Tori gets put into elimination. Not as fast as she needed to because Cara was so scared to say her name. And I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand why Cara was so scared to say her name. But we get back to the house. Tori is pissed. Tori wants to go up against Ashley because she says that Ashley is a good swimmer and Ashley is a beast. So Tori is pissed. She's talking about, oh, if I win, y'all can take me to the UK side, take me to the UK side. It is what it is. I'm going to take whoever I'm taking out, and I'm going to the UK side. So I'm like, all right, she boasted. Tori can boast, though, because she's a powerful chick. She is a beast, so Tori can boast. I'm shocked that she didn't want to go against Cara, but it is what it is. So, we get back to the house, and Leroy is blasting Zach, which I'm shocked, although Zach looked like he lost a lot of weight. He looks skinnier on the skinnier side. But Leroy is like, Leroy basically told Zach, you're not a G. You bombed I bombed, but it is what it is. Jordan, I will take you in elimination anytime. Let that be physical, and it's going down. And I'm looking at Leroy like, whoa, wait, where did this player come from? What's going on? And without me having to say anything else, Leroy had them shut. At least from the edit that we saw. Jordan didn't say much to Leroy, and Zach didn't say much to Leroy. And Leroy was basically like feeling himself, really, really feeling himself. And saying, oh, well, I'm going to be at the final anyway, so it's either you're going to be with us or against us. But either way, I'm going to get to the final. But he does say, if I lose, I'm going to lose fair and square, but it is what it is. I'm getting to the final. I don't know. I really hope that all this stuff that Leroy is doing or all the stuff that he's having to do and be on the Paulie side, I hope he makes it to the final. That's all I'm going to say. We get to eliminations, and the craziest thing ever happens. How much power does Paulie and Cara have over the US and UK side to get the UK to vote one of their good players in after they just won a freaking challenge? How? I don't understand how Paulie and Cara are that good. I just don't understand it. And Josh, I felt bad for Josh because Kaylee was like, whatever, I'm voting in Georgia. Georgia and Theo immediately attacked Josh and was like, don't do this, Josh. Don't do this, Josh. Don't do this, Josh. Don't do this, Josh. And I really thought that Josh was not going to do it because Josh seems like a good-hearted person that'll fold under pressure. But he sends in Georgia, and Georgia ends up getting kicked off. Tori won both matches, and at that moment, I was just like, whoa! What, this particular, I was like on the edge of my freaking seat looking at this shit like I cannot believe Josh put Georgia in the freaking elimination, in the proving grounds, after they just won, and they haven't won anything in a very long time. Wow! But Josh played his heart out last season and got played by Paulie and the partner that Paulie had, which was so, it was like, it was so horrible. And so Josh, that's why Josh said, I've been playing these games with my heart and I'm always getting G'd over. I want some freaking money. And so he's playing the game and deciding to play it with no heart. we'll see how far Leroy and Josh get in this game. We'll see how far they get in this game. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I hope it works out for them, and I hope. I still have somewhat of care for Paulie. I just think that Cara and that whole situation is very toxic. It's like, why can't they just remain good-hearted, good athletes, and dominate? Why do they have to be conniving and manipulative and controlling and one day they're bosses and the next day they're like, I don't like it anymore. I don't like it anymore. I still like Leroy. I think he's cool. I think he's just playing the game. I love CT. CT has grown so much. Josh is cool. Kaylee, I've never liked Kaylee ever since she blasted on Homegirl and outed her on social media. I love Cam. I think Cam is dope. Who are your favorites? Who are your actual favorites this particular challenge, this season? Who are your favorites? Who's your top 2 guys and your top 2 girls? Mine are Leroy and Paulie and Cam. Probably Cam and Jenny. Those are probably my 2 top girls. But let me know your thoughts. This is